There are certain dates and ages that matter in the tax code. You've heard us talk about the rule of 55, 59 and a half, 72, set hut, Omaha, if you're Peyton Manning and you're running around playing football. No, seriously, there are ages that you need to know, and attached to those ages are options, opportunities, and sadly enough, penalties. We're going to discuss what happens at 59 and a half and what you need to be thinking about as you go into your early years of retirement on Consider This Program. Join us today. Well, good morning and welcome to Consider This Program. I am your host, Joe Clark.
And I'm Aaron Rheaume,
our Director of Financial Planning at the Financial Enhancement Group. Aaron, very, very happy to have you along.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about important dates. You know, in fact, the title of this, the theme, if you will, of this whole show has been Pivotal Days.
Is that like when I'm going out with my wife?
That's an important date,
Okay.
Right? That is an important date, and it probably does also come with options, opportunities, and potential penalties, right? Knowing you and Jessica, that's I just have to throw that out there. No different than Barb and I. Every moment can lead to an option, right? And we have to choose where we're going to go, choose where we're going to eat. You know what I like to say is that everybody loves to have options, just nobody likes to make decisions.
You say that often.
And financial planning is no different. So at age 59 and a half, you have some options, which means you're going to have to make some decisions. So tell me what 59 and a half means, Aaron. Why is it important?
59 and a half eliminates the IRS's wonderful penalty that they put on you if you take a distribution from an IRA account early of 10%. So
a 10% penalty.
Yes.
But then you don't have to pay the taxes.
You do.
Oh, no.
So on top of the tax, you are also taxed with a 10% penalty.
Ain't that special?
Yes.
Simply for accessing your money early.
Correct.
Now, you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, we still have people on a monthly basis that come in. The other day, somebody thought that it was actually their money and they'd already paid taxes on it. And thought that they could just make the withdrawal. And we're not talking about a Roth IRA in this case. They had money in a 401k that they just thought they could, pull out, spend, and go buy a vet. And
Uncle Sam probably says no to that.
Uncle Sam would. They could probably get it out. Of course, the 20% out of the 401k would have been withheld. That's another one of the rules.
Yeah.
That money you do get back, but it's part of the deal. So talk to me about what we do when somebody retires and they're over 59 and a half, and they think they need income.
Sure.
So up in my Lafayette office, we have a lot of people who retire at 60.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the process? What do we do?
Again, it is, making sure that we're working with that person individually. They're all unique, that person, that couple, and really figuring out their process of what they need to help maintain their standard of living. That is the first place that I try to get people to start, is what do you need to be able to live? What's the social, what's the fixed side? Once we understand what that standard of living is, then you can design income around that.
So that's the key thing. When you go to retire, when you go to what I like to call separating from service, because most of us don't just watch grass grow when we retire. It's why I call it your life after work, as opposed to, a retirement plan, if you will. But when you separate from service, what you have to replace is not a percentage of your income.
Absolutely not.
That is from my world of academia that comes up with these percentages that the average family may need across the country. If you're taking the time to listen to this show, watch this video, listen to this podcast, you are not the average American, and you are certainly unique. And what we need to do is replace 100% of your standard of living. Now, here's where you have to walk through those 5 critical elements that we talk about on Elements in Focus, which is a video that you can get sent to your email box each week that Aaron and Grant actually present and put on. You can get the Mark Carver, where we talk about the investment part in terms of how all of this functions and how it works. But when you sit down and you've got your financial vision put together so that you know and we know the direction of where you and your spouse want to head, in terms of your life after work and where you want to go. We've got to look at each of these elements individually. So the first thing we want to do is replace your standard of living, undoubtedly.
Yes.
The second thing we want to do is maximize, or in this case, minimize what you're going to pay to the IRS. We want to maximize your tax journey, right? So money that we may have you pull out of your IRA may or may not be money that you need, right? We just want you to recognize the income at the lowest possible tax bracket, even if we take that money and redeposit it into another area. Once you get to age 55 or age 59 and a half, and you have an IRA, you can begin to kind of tweak your tax planning. And I've talked about that a lot on the show, and we'll continue to talk about it a lot on the show. Tell me, one of the things, Aaron, a lot of people, we have over 250 engineers that we take care of. And, they're good with spreadsheets.
Sure.
They're better with spreadsheets than me most of the time, right? That's why I have you. And the bottom line is that many people think that they should take Social Security. In fact, according to the Social Security Administration, more than 70% of Americans take Social Security at age 62. Why is that a bad idea?
It's a bad idea, one, because it limits you on potentially going back to work. So there's a couple key dates as we're on this pivotal day type topic. 62 is your earliest retirement that you can start Social Security. Then you push into what's called FRA, or full retirement age, and that's different for everybody. It's different on the year you were born. For some people, it's 66 in a couple months. For some people, it's 67. And then your latest time you could take Social Security is at age 70. But there's key things that happen at different points in time. So if you start Social Security early, you get a 6% decrease in your benefit until you reach your full retirement age. Waiting past your full retirement age allows you to get an 8% increase up until age 70. One of the terms that I love that Joe coined is we have this phrase in our office called the retirement V for victory. And really that is going along with what Joe's discussing about taking distributions out of your IRA, so it allows your Social Security benefits to grow to a maximum. And we can illustrate that in the office, but there are key factors, and I highly discourage people taking Social Security at age 62 unless there's a major health concern.
Yeah. And so I would add a caveat to that. What I always, your life expectancy once you reach age 60 is 84 and a half.
Yes.
And so I always tell people, if you agree to die on time, you have no other assets, and you don't believe the tax code is going to change, right?
Yeah.
You have to have those three.
You just
right?
let me know when I'm dying.
And you have to die at 84 and a half, die on time.
Yep.
Right? And then it doesn't matter if you take it at 62, full retirement age, or at age 70.
Yeah.
This is the largest actuarial pool in the world. They know the math. They know what they're doing. But understand, as you listen to the show, you're competing against people. When you hear life expectancy, that's the average life expectancy of all of us with two legs walking on in the United States, right? When you think about that, you're competing with people who were at bars at 3 o'clock last night. You're competing with people who decided not to go to a doctor or a dentist for decades,
Yep.
right? We always presume that you're going to make it 5 years longer than what that average life expectancy is. Secondly, most of you who are listening to the show have additional assets, and you cannot do Social Security in a silo.
Correct.
Right? If you look at it and you're only examining Social Security, and that's all you're doing, right? And you agree to die on time, you don't think the tax rates are going up, and you have no other assets, fine, take it when you want it, right? But presuming you do have other assets like a 401k, a 403b, a trust account, or a retail account, presuming that you think that the tax rate might just possibly, increase over the course of time over the rest of our environment. As Aaron said, unless you have significant health issues, the majority of the time it is in your best interest to delay that. And, if somebody's signed up for Social Security, can they turn that off?
They can, but it is a very short time frame. You have to do it within 12 months of taking the benefit. So you can stop it, and you've got to pay it back.
Yeah, you pay it back, and then it's kind of like, this never happened. There's nothing to see here. If you're a Star Trek or a Star Wars fan, right? There's nothing to see here. You just go back in time and you're able to reverse it. And we've done that for people and helped them. You have to have the cash to be able to do it. But it is an important, Social Security is an important decision in people's process. When, I'm 54 years old, right? So when I started, they told us that the most important decision that most people would ever make, the most valuable decision they would ever make, is the home that they chose to buy. I will tell you 33 years later that I think that actually comes in third. I see $2 million 401k accounts, on a, the average family that's walking in the door has about $1.8 million that we're sitting down with and talking to. Most of us had no idea that we would ever see accounts this size. The IRS certainly didn't understand that in 1974, 1980, the first time they had a 401k. But here we are, right? And we have to deal with the reality that we have other assets and that the IRS wants their share, right? And so we've got to do everything we can to put you into situations to be able to protect you, not with tax, not just this concept of tax deferral. I'm not talking about an annuity. I'm talking about appropriately recognizing taxable income on an annual basis that is in your best benefit over your entire financial journey. That's over your life. So that retirement V for victory is a matter of actually taking out excess distributions from your IRA, perhaps more than what you're comfortable. The IRA may actually go down in value. Here lately, because of the market, that's not happened. But in theory, it would go down in value more than what we would want. Then we're able to stop the distributions, turn on Social Security at the higher benefit that Aaron talked about, and that's where you have that retirement V for victory. And it's not a concept for everyone to use. As I tell people, I would not play with this one on my own without having a qualified advisor to understand. It's why I have a CPA on our team, Brett Spangler. It's why we work with Huth Thompson in Lafayette, the Ben and Estep and Company, and Michelle, Estep Doctor and Company in Muncie and Anderson, Mike Layer down in Indianapolis. You've got to have quality people to know what's going on here. 800-928-4001, yourlifeafterwork.com. Look forward to meeting you.